Well, Naledi, you'll forgive me for keep on looking around. We're expecting the arrival of Zolile Sekeleni, who is the father of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, any minute now. You'll see who's going to walk through the gate in just a few moments. Gary Buerta, that is the lawyer representing Nastasia Janssen, of course, who you'd recall was granted bail of 10,000 rand. Very good morning to you, Mr. Buerta. How are you?
Morning, how are you?
Very good, thank you. All right, tell me, going ahead today, your client has been out on bail. Of course, she's been reporting to the Heidedal police station. You're expecting to continue today? Short postponement?
At this stage is a short postponement, but the state has to inform us how far is the investigation. Is the investigation completed? Outstanding witness statements, the video footage, autopsy reports. We are ready. We are ready. The state must inform us, and we are ready to arrange a trial date or ready for action.
All right.
Yes.
Gary Buerta representing Nastasia Janssen, thank you very much indeed.
No
His client, we did show you Naledi a bit earlier on, has arrived with her family here. The Sekeleni family has also arrived, the family of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. You'll take a look right through the rails of the court. Right there, the family has also arrived for Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. You'd recall during the last court appearance, Naledi, she had appeared virtually with Thabo Bester. So in this instance, Thabo Bester is the one that's going to be appearing virtually now, and Dr. Nandipha Magudumana is expected inside this court here today. Likely a postponement in this particular matter. Remember, we will also be joining here, Naledi. All right, let's go towards this direction. I'm going to ask my colleague to come with me. Just stay with us, Naledi. We see the arrival of Mr. Zolile Sekeleni at this particular point, together with the lawyers, of course, that are representing Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, as well as Zolile Sekeleni, the father, as well. Here he comes, Zolile Sekeleni, who is the father of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, arriving at the court this morning. Good morning to you. Mr. Mutloung, Dr. Sekeleni, good morning. Advocate Diba, all right, arriving at this particular point at the court. And you'd recall that he was granted bail of 10,000 rand. Machini Mutloung, representing Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, as well as Zolile Sekeleni, who has just arrived. And he was granted bail of 10th. And Dr. Sekeleni, good morning to you. How are you feeling? You've been out on bail. He will not say anything to us at this point, but we'll go inside the court as they make their way in. Also, Advocate Diba, who is representing Zolile Sekeleni, will just go in as they enter. And I was indicating then, Naledi, that one of the key aspects as well is that we'll hear this morning whether there will be a bail application for Zanda Moyo. Zanda Moyo, who is believed to be the driver of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. You recall the last time he was in court, they were yet to get together some particulars, bail particulars, and we'll hear inside court this morning if indeed he will be applying for bail this morning. You'll see some of the family members, the legal teams as well, that have obviously arrived. You'll see there the sister of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, who's consistently been at the court here to support their family members. A bit earlier on, also giving a hug to her father, Zolile Sekeleni, who's been on that bail of 10,000 rand. They're just registering at this particular point, and in just a few moments they will make their way inside this particular court. It's going to be a very short appearance here. They're going to make their way. And I'll just walk with my colleagues at this particular point, and they had just a few moments ago the legal teams and Zolile Sekeleni also arriving. You'd recall he was the only one who was granted a bail together with Nastasia Janssen, and We know at this particular point whether Zolile Sekeleni walking very closely with his daughter.
Griselda, I'm not sure if you're able to hear me, but I think there's something to be...
Please go ahead, Naledi. I'm going to try and see if I'm able to hear you. There's a bit of a noise here at the court, however.
Let me try.
Let me also get details of this morning is whether that bail application, of course, will continue for Zanda Moyo. Let's allow the legal teams to just make their way through. Naledi, I'm really going to struggle at this point to try and hear you as we try to maneuver inside the courtroom. All right, you'll see there, Zolile Sekeleni is, of course, arriving with his daughter, and this is... we're expecting the matter to get underway very shortly. As we indicated a bit earlier on, there had been some load shedding, but all that has been sorted out now. Remember, of course, Naledi, during this particular instance, we'll probably hear from the court as well if any bearing will be had on this case. You'd remember one of the investigating officers in this matter, Brigadier Mkhawuletsi. We understood from the National Police Commissioner, he had indicated that, there is no foul play, that is currently being investigated in terms of his death. It was a suicide, the National Police Commissioner had confirmed, and they did indicate that they were going to send a team or bring a team here to Bloemfontein to investigate further on this particular matter. What bearing that will have, perhaps that is also something that will be brought up inside this court here this morning. However, the matter is expected to be very quick, a quick postponement, whether there'll be other issues that might be attended to as well. We'll certainly hear once the proceedings get underway. So those that will be coming down from or coming up from the holding cells would be Sinohe Matsware, Diboho Dipulo, Buti Masukela, as well as Dio Mahotsa. Those are the ones that will be brought from the holding cells, and they were the ones that were not granted bail. Zolile Sekeleni, who you're looking at the moment, was granted bail of 10,000 rand, you recall. He and Nastasia Janssen with those that were granted bail, both at 10,000 rand each. So hence you would see them, Naledi, arriving from, outside the court itself. They'd been granted bail, of course. But those are some of the aspects. We'll also get clarity on whether Zanda Moyo will be applying for bail here this morning. You recall during the last appearance, he had indicated that we're also seeing the legal representative for one of the accused. In fact, two of them also arriving at this particular stage. So the expectation is that court would get underway any minute from now. But of course, Zolile Sekeleni as well as Nastasia Janssen, who've been granted bail, have already arrived. Naledi, I'm going to try and see if I can hear you at this particular point. And perhaps I could hear you were trying to ask me a question. I'm not sure if you'd like to proceed on that.
Yeah, and I think it would be interesting, in fact, just to remind ourselves just of the charges that Zolile Sekeleni himself faces. We know that the NPA in April having dropped the charges of murder against the father of Sekeleni. And, just some clarity as to, all the different role players as the list of suspects get longer in the matter, right? The list of charges that are being faced. And also if we're expecting to see even more suspects added to the charge sheet, because one would imagine that then we'd see even more postponements moving forward.
Well, Naledi, at this particular point, what authorities have indicated is that they're expecting to... Oh, let me try and see if I can... Ntate Makamedi.
Hello, ma.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Expected to go ahead this morning?
I think so.
All right. He says he thinks so. Let me try and speak to Ntate Kwanana. Good morning. How are you?
You should be.
Expected to continue this morning?
Yes, we should.
All right. Maybe get some clarity as well on whether how far investigations are in this particular matter? Is that what you'll also be seeking, perhaps?
Not really. I think it's just going to be an ordinary postponement.
Yes.
They probably might say that they are still continuing with the investigations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Kwanana, thank you very much indeed. Legal representatives trying to speak to as many of them as possible. And this is, of course, as Solile Sekeleni continues to sit there with his daughter. And they're, of course, waiting the arrival of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana as well. When court proceedings get underway, of course, Solile Sekeleni will also get into the dock with the other accused in this particular matter. But of course, there's also likely to be an instance, Naledi, where I am hearing information at this particular point that there might be the lawyers for Thabo Bester that might be recusing themselves from this particular matter. However, we will see if that goes ahead inside this court here this morning,
right.
And indeed if that is placed formally before the court,
okay.
of what I'm hearing at this particular stage might be a withdrawal of Thabo Bester's lawyers from this case.
Griselda, we're going to have to come out at the moment.
Once the matter gets underway.
Yeah, we're going to have to come out, and of course once the matter does... have said over and over again that more suspects are expected to be added to the matter. But Thabo Bester once again appearing in court, a man that has certainly gotten South Africa and many parts of the continent talking as well over the past few months. This is after it was revealed that he allegedly escaped from prison, the Mangaung Correctional Facility, last year, having used a decoy where he is alleged to have staged a suicide in the cell 35 of the Mangaung prison, using a decoy that we later on have found out was the body of Katlego Bereng, who was burnt to death in the jail cell, to make it look as if Thabo Bester himself had been burnt in the jail cell, and then orchestrating his death as well. Well, now, after being arrested in Tanzania, he appears in court once again with those that are facing charges of aiding and abetting his escape from the Mangaung Correctional Facility.
Yeah, and as part of our question of the day, what we're asking you is whether you are still following this case, not yet at a trial level, but are you still following this case, and what do you make of the developments? You can drop us a tweet at the agenda_SABC, that is at the agenda_SABC. But I have to say, Naledi, quite a fascinating case, and considering how many people are still interested in this case as well, since the story broke, and this was of course the work that was done by Ground Up, where also information was received that at the time that Thabo Bester escaped from a prison, that was a decoy was used, and the DNA tests that were later on then found and confirmed that indeed it was not Thabo Bester who was in that prison cell at 35, that is at the Mangaung Correctional Center. Of course, this matter ending up in Parliament as well, where G4S had to explain to Parliament what exactly went wrong, and investigations are still continuing. As Naledi has indicated, more arrests are expected in this case. But just a reminder, once again, we're asking you this morning, are you still following this case? Are you still interested in the Thabo Bester escape case? If so, what do you make of the developments so far? You can drop us a tweet at the agenda_SABC, that is at the agenda_SABC. I'm going to take you to a quick ad break, and when we come back, we continue looking at the visuals coming out of the Magistrates Court in Bloemfontein.
As please the court, Yusuf, I call 28 for 113 for 2023, state against Thabo Bester. The accused before you now is accused number 5 on record, and present today is Advocate Pila, and he wishes to address the court before we proceed further.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Worship. Court places. Your Worship, I confirm appearance on behalf of accused number 5 in the main matter, Mr. Thabo Bester. Your Worship, we request to bring an application for recusal on this matter. Myself and the instructing attorney, Mr. Ndo. We had the discussion with our client, Mr. Thabo Bester, and we came to amicable agreement that there won't be further instructions from today for me and Mr. Ndo. So based on that, Your Worship, we do not have further instructions to proceed with this matter. And if the court is inclined, it is our humble request for the court to accept our application to be recused. Court places.
Thank you. Mr. Bester, are you aware,
Yes.
are you aware of the intended application to be brought before me of your legal
Yes.
representative to recuse themselves?
Yes, yes, I am.
Thank you. Application granted.
Court places, Your Worship. May I be excused myself and my instructing attorney?
Excuse.
Court places, Your Worship.
Judge, may I further indicate there is a new attorney on record, Mr. Mathieu, will address the court on that aspect. As please.
Thank you. Mr. Mathieu.
Court please, Your Worship. Your Worship, my appearance, Your Worship. I'd like to confirm that I'll be assuming mandate on behalf of Mr. Bester in this matter. A date for further investigations has been arranged between the state and the defense, Your Worship. I think it's the 8th of August 2023, Your Worship, for further appearances.
Thank you, Mr. Mathieu.
Yes, I confirm that the date has been arranged of the 8th of August for further investigation. And yes, if I may, there are still at least 3 more suspects that are to be added. And furthermore, Your Worship, we are still awaiting the analysis of the cell phone records as well as the bank statements of some of the other accused. And there's 2 or 3 more witness statements that are outstanding. For that purpose, the state is of the view that at least a period of a month will suffice to allow the completion of this investigation. On that basis, we are agreed with the legal team, even of other accused, on the date of the 8th of August 2023. I have further been approached by Mr. Mathieu, the legal team for Mr. Bester now, in terms of his physical appearance on the next appearance, and on that day, the state has no objection. The necessary arrangements will be done. As it is, he remains in custody.
Mr. Bester, do you confirm that you have instructed a new attorney, Mr. Mathieu?
Yes, I have confirmed.
Thank you. Your case is hereby remanded until the 8th day of August 2023 for further investigations. You will remain in custody until then. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
As a basis, we may now adjourn and move to the next court for the appearance of the rest of the accused. As it is.
Should we immediately?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, court of gents.
All right, remain.
Expected.
Recused his legal team, having appointed a new legal team. And you'd remember, of course, that there were allegations of one of his legal team facing criminal charges, himself charges of rape as well. So Bester's appearance now postponed until the 8th of August of this year. We'll bring you more from the Bloemfontein Magistrate Court on the other side of this. Do stay with us.